Hi, this video and tutorial is about regression analysis. Um, Here we're going to consider linear regression. What is regression analysis is there are actually two variables and we try to predict how one variable affects on the basis of other variable. You can see here in the diagram there are two axes, x and y. The x-axis shows or represents the independent variable and y-axis shows the dependent variable. Now, how y is changing in x-axis? You can see here when we draw a line, it shows that the x-axis is increasing, and on the same way, y-axis is also increasing. It means this is showing a positive relationship. Means an increase in x would also cause an increase in y, or vice versa. Now, there could be another relationship that shows a negative relationship, means an increase or in fact an increase in y would actually uh, an increase in x would decrease y. You can see here. So this shows negative relationship. Regression analysis, we try to predict and we try to make function that predicts uh, how or to what extent one variable would affect the other variable. Here you can see the lines are straight lines. So that shows it's a linear regression model, linear regression analysis that we are talking about. Now, what is the formula to actually calculate this? You know that the equation of a straight line is represented by y equals to mx plus c, where m represents slope. The same equation is given here. Y equals to a plus bx, where a is y-intercept and b is the slope. Now, a-intercept, uh, a is actually y-intercept. Y-intercept is the point where the line cuts y-axis. You can see here, this is y, this is a, we can call it y-intercept. Here, this is again a, we can call it y-intercept. How do we calculate a and b? Now, you can see here the value of y is dependent on the value of x. If x changes, y also is changed. And this is the model. This is how we predict the values of y based on the values of x. Generally, this is applicable when all the data or the observation when we keep plot it into a scatter plot, it gives a straight line. You can see here, these are all the observations, and when these observations are plotted on the graph, it's giving a straight line almost. So now the deviation from the straight line is actually representing the error, but more or less that's giving a straight line. The observations are going downwards in a form of a straight line. So we can turn this line into an equation, and we can use this equation to find other values of y based on the values of x. Now the next thing is, how do we calculate a and b? A is the y-intercept. The formula for calculating a is mean of y observations less uh, mean of x observation multiplied by b. Now this b is actually slope. How do we calculate slope? There is generally a very simple formula of calculating slope, and there are only 2 points involved. That is y minus y1 is equals to x upon x minus x1, or divided by x minus x1. Here, the formula is a bit changed because there are so many observations involved. The formula is simple, though we calculate deviations of each observation from its mean. You can see here x bar is the mean and x is the actual observation. So we are calculating, we are subtracting mean from each observation, and then we are multiplying with mean of y from each observation of y, and then we are doing summation of this, and then we are dividing it by absolute values. That's the square given, and then again same thing, x is subtracted from mean of x for each observation, and then there is a summation of that taken. So this is a very simple formula, you can very easily learn it. Summation of x minus x bar multiplied by y minus y bar upon summation of x minus x bar whole square. So this is how we calculate b. Now once this b is calculated, this is actually the slope. Slope means whether how much slant the line is. In this case, if there is a negative relationship, slope is probably going to come at negative. So when we are going to put values of slope into to the equation, and we can easily get the value of a, and that value of a and b is already there, should be put into the main equation, and if here we get the actual function which can be used to predict values of y based on changed or new values of x. And this is all. I hope you've understood and learned about this thing. This is about linear regression, and if there are any questions, you can send me. I'll try to actually make an Excel model for calculating regression model, and I'll try to share it with you on as a link on YouTube. Thank you.